Now, a pivot table is a tool, like we explained in the last class, is a tool in Excel used to summarize. That is, you want to summarize, analyze a large data set in just few minutes. You use your pivot table instead of it going through the stress of it doing the analysis we did the other time. That I intentionally made you guys went through a rigorous training on how to analyze without using this pivot table. I need to bring this last so that you can see that we can actually do things automatically. So now, right now, is a tool in Excel used to summarize, analyze, and explore large data sets. I'm not talking about 30. I'm talking about large data sets. Like we are talking about 1,000 rows, 700 rows, 500 rows, and so on and so forth. And you need to understand that it gets you have access in getting all, like, I mean, the trends, everything. So what are the benefits? Quick data analysis, flexibility, interactive reporting. You can see it all through the filtering process and the like. So how to create a pivot table. So let's go into the business of the day. Now this is a large data set. You can see this is a large data set. So how do you create your pivot table? What we mean by pivot table, you will see it right here. The first thing is that make sure you turn your work to a table and let it have a name. How do you do that? Just click on one and Control A. It highlights all. Then format as table. So you use any style you want. Now, where is the data for your table? My table has it as, click OK. After that, under your design tab, you see your table name here. You come there, you erase this, and you write your table name, financial financial data set. Just write anything you want. This is mine. Make sure it has a name. Then you press enter. So this table already has a name, which is financial data set. And after that, same process to now create your pivot table. Control A. Then you come to insert. Under your insert, you will see pivot table. You click on pivot table. Then it's going to tell you select a table or range. You can see it's already a named table. This is the range. I'm using financial data set range. That's why it's named already. Now choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. New worksheet or existing worksheet. New worksheet, that is going to create another worksheet entirely. So if I press new worksheet, okay, you can see it has created a new worksheet in sheet 2. Now here there's a space in between, which means it started from number 3. Now, if you check, something was created, analyze tab was created. And if you check your right pan here, you can see your pivot table fields. Right here, you have all your columns inside this part. You can see these are all your columns in the table. So it's easier for you to just drag and drop. That is what we'll be doing. Filtering is where you want to filter your table. Probably you are filtering your table. What do you want to use in filtering your table? Are you filtering with country? Are you filtering with segment? Are you filtering with product? Anything you want to filter as, you drag to your filter. So let's say, for example, we are filtering with country. I'll just drag my country inside filter. You can see it's drag and drop. Now, which means that is my filtering. So for example, let's say they are telling you to display the total product, or the total product sold, or the unit sold, or the total sales in a particular country, and they want to tell you, okay, we want to see different countries own. You make use of filtering with country at the first instant. That's the first thing you do. So if I come here now, you can see all the countries I have here. So I'll be able to select the countries I want. So if I just want to select Australia, I'll come here to select Australia alone. But for now, let's leave it at all. Then after that, before you can do anything, you make sure you have objectives in what you are doing. What do I mean by that? There must be objectives. There must be questions you want to answer. For example, in this kind of table now, let's say we want to check what is, okay, we want to know product and total sales. We want to know the total sales made by each product. Total sales made, or let's start with unit sold. That is the total unit sold made by each product. So so the thing you're going to do right now is, you knowing that, the thing you're going to do, sorry, give me a few minutes. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So as I was saying, you need to have an objective for anything you want to do. There should be an objective. For example, we want to get the unit sold by each product. That is number one objective. We want to get total sales made by each product. That is another objective. We want to get the profit made by each product. That is another objective. Are you getting it? So that is that. Now, quick one. We are featuring based on country, so you should get that. So now what are we going to do? We've already have that. So you just write. Make sure you always let your reports be accurate. That should be easily accessible and readable. So the first objective, unit sold, you type, you write it there. Unit sold by each unit sold by each product. That is my number one objective. After writing that, you can bold it, increase it so that they can know this is an objective. Then after that, you follow the same procedure to bring in your pivot table because you want to get units sold by each product and you don't want to use formula this time around. We want to use pivot table, automate our work so that it can be easy. That is what we're trying to do. So now you leave a line. You observe that I left a line here. So you leave a line, then you come to number 5, same procedure, insert pivot table. Where is my table range? You come to your sheet 1 where I have my table range, Control A, it gives you financial data set, existing worksheet, okay. So now this time around, I want to get units sold by each product. You have filter, columns, rows, values. Any calculation you are working on, you drag that column to values. Anything you want to work calculation on. Now this is units sold by each product. Column means you want it to be in column this way. Rows means I want it to be rows like this. So I will drag my product because I'm talking about units sold by each product. I'll drag my product to my rows. Then I will drag my units sold to my values. Can you see? So with this, I'm able to get units sold by each product. That is, I've done my number one. You can see. You can give it number so that you can get it. Objective 1. So now, with this now, units sold by each product, we've done that. You can see. So now, the next thing is probably you want to beautify it. You want to rename this. I want to give it a name. You will double click on this. You will backspace. Then probably you want to give it a name. You can give it products. Products. Now, another thing is that sum of units. So let's say, for example, you are not using, you are not, you don't want to get the sum. You want to get average. Instead of you stressing yourself, probably you want to get average units sold. You click on the arrow beside your values, where you have your values here, the arrow beside. You click on it. You click value field settings. Then here you can be able to choose anything you want, be it average, be it max, be it product, anything you want here, variance, standard deviation. You can pick it right here. You can see this is easy without formula. So we are using sum. So I can just erase this sum. I don't want sum there. I want just units sold, total units sold. You press enter. So with this, we have product and total units sold. If I don't want to see the grand total there, what will I do? I will right click on my grand total and say remove grand total. So with this now, we've gotten our objectives, an answer to it. So the next objective, we want to get number 2. Next objective, probably, this one is unit sold. We want to get total sales. Total sales by each product. Now, total sales by, I'll stop at this total sales so you guys will do the rest. Total sales by each product, the same procedure. After writing your work that you've, bold, anything you want to do there, after that, you leave a space, a line, then you come to your insert, pivot table, you come to where your table, when it displays this thing, you come to where you have your data set. You just click on one of it and press Ctrl A. It will change it to the name, then you click OK. That's all. So it has brought out another thing for me. So what am I doing? Total sales by each product. Then I will drag again. Total sales by each product. My product comes to rows because I want rows. This is column. If I drag it to column, it will be this way. But I want it to be a rows. I'll just drag it to rows because I want it to be easily accessible. You click on total your product to rows. Then after that, what am I looking for? Total sales. Yes or no? My total sales. I have my sales here. I drag my sales to values. You can see your total sales. Now, I'm doing mine. You observe mine did not have currency. I already told you to clean this data set the last time we had a class. So I believe yours should have an accurate, this one is unit code, it's still okay in, it must be in numbers. This your sales must be in currency. So analyze it so well, clean your data set very well so that this can be accurate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's say, for example, you want to just do it here. You don't want to do it on your data set. You can do it here also. Just highlight it. You understand? Right click on it. You get a point. Then you click on number format. On my number format, I click on currency. Any currency I want to pick, decimal place, you press OK. You can see it's in this format. So I want everything to be in a proper format. That is how to get. So we've done total sales by each product. So now, for example, let's say I stopped here. And the same procedure is what you do to get profits and the likes, but I stopped here and I want to filter. We had this filter page, and they now ask me a question that, okay, I want to know how many units were, how many Alpha Phone X was sold in Brazil. So if I click on my Brazil now, see how this thing will get interactive, and I click on OK. What happened? Everything has changed. You can see Brazil. So which means Alpha Phone X, what's it called? 482,707 Alpha Phone X was sold in Brazil. If they want to check Canada, same thing, I click on Canada. If I click on Canada now, okay, you can see. So that is how we filter. But now, if I want to check something, now, for example, if my filtering pan, I drag it to filter pan. So now, let's say, for example, I want to run my field settings, to check what is it called? The custom name. I want to change the custom name. I want to subtotals automatic. That one is automatic. So now, if I want to include new items in manual filter, I'll just click on include new items in manual filters and press OK. Do you understand? So Australia, if I click on Australia, now another thing right here, let me highlight this. Another thing right here that you need to get right is, sorry, other call, sorry. So another thing you need to get right here is we have what we call our, what is it called? We have what we call our filter. Now, okay, let me quickly say this before we move away from this part. The reason why you observe something that this filtering is not working for this, why? Because it is different things entirely. So if I want to bring it down here now, where I have my this, I can highlight this and just drag the country in the filter. So there's already, okay. So you can see I've dragged it inside now. So if I drag it inside now, so anything I'm doing here, if I change Brazil, you can see. So the difference between this and this is that this filtering pan is added to my, what's it called, to this particular to this particular table, pivot table that I inserted. So same thing for this also. I drag my country to this filter also, so that everything works in it. But these are things you should have done before now. So that is another aspect. But let's undo it. Let's make use of good. So now I've undone this. I want to make use of, okay, let it be all good. So now let's say, for example, let me delete this off because we don't need it. But I just need to show you an example of that filtering pan. So now let's say, for example, we now have all these things now, and we want to insert something that works for all. We call those things slicer and timeline. Slicer and timeline. They work for everything instead of using filtering. We want to make use of the one that works for everything. Slicer works for all. It's just like you bring in a group of items. You want to filter your data, your pivot table. Make use of, like for example, the way we have country. Now, if we want country to be working, like we want to bring in country filter, whereby everything, all these things answers to. That is what we call the, what's it called? The slicer and the timeline. How do we bring them in? Now you click on any of your pivot table, then you have your analyze and you have your design. So you click on your analyze, you can see insert slicer. So if I click on insert slicer now, it shows me all the columns. Slicer is for any columns. Timeline is for dates. Timeline is date based. Slicer is any column based. So if I click on slicer now, I can use anything. You know, we are using country now. We want to filter with country. If I click on my country and I press OK now, you can see this is the timeline. So you can use any format. You can use any format. So if you click on your options, you can see different formats here, any colors you want, anything you want. But the major thing is that make sure it's working for everything. So if I click on Australia now, check. I wanted to check something. I wanted to check the sales and the unit sold if they are changing. So if I click on Australia, can you see what happened? What happened? Brazil. Can you see what happened? So as I'm clicking on it, it's what? It's changing. It's affecting everything. But you observe it's only affecting this. It's not affecting this. So what will I do? I click on report connection. In my report connection, I'll be able to click on all so that it will affect all my work. That is you using your report connection to. So which means everything in my work, if I click on my sheet one, it will be displaying everything. That is anything that I bring out from this my sheet will filter. So if I click on Brazil now, you can see it's affecting all. Germany, it's affecting all. India, it's affecting all. So that is, so if I want to select all now, I'll just click on this. It will select everything. It will select everything. So that is about slicer. Sorry, I'm just trying to rush out. So the next one is timeline. You know, I told you timeline is time-based. Same thing, analyze. This is timeline. It is time-based. We can't, because it doesn't have a field formatted as date. If this date is not actually formatted, this date is in general. So your own should be a clean data set. Do you understand? It should be a clean data set so that you'll be able to format that date. You get a point? To a date format. So if the date is formatted to a date format now, it will be easier for us to what? To use our timeline. So for example, if I want to format it to date now, I'll click on date, the date I want, I press OK. So this is formatted as date. After formatting it, I come to my data. You can see in my data, I have my data. I'll just click on refresh all because I just brought in something. So now let's check our timeline. You will observe something. If I click on my timeline, because it doesn't have a field formatted as this, so which means yours, try as much as possible to clean yours very well. You understand? It will take us to start cleaning this and turning it to date because this data set is not actually too clean. I'm just using that for an example so that you can see how it's being done. So that is about the, what's it called? The pivot table. So your assignment to be sent to your group. No, I think it's sent already. So do that assignment using a clean data. You know, I said it, a clean data set. Make sure you add slicer to your clean data set. Make sure you add timeline to your clean data set. And make sure it is interactive, which means if I click on any of it, it should work for everything. Japan works for everything. So follow the assignment sent to your group, and I'm expecting the assignment before our next class, which is tomorrow. Okay, no, oh, sorry, tomorrow is Tuesday. So send in your assignment before 2 p.m. tomorrow. Send in your assignment before 2 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be expecting that. So is that clear? Is there any question? I have less than 1 minute left. Is there any question? Is there any question? I think in absence of no question, we can call
No.
it a day.